This is a brief overview of both super mutants and ghouls as an introduction to abominations within the Fallout universe. Before we begin, I would like for you to comment, like, and subscribe. It doesn't take but a second, and getting positive feedback like that really does help me out. Super mutants are a product of the forced evolutionary virus, which is a man-made mutagenic virus developed by West Tech for the purposes of bioengineering. FEV drastically changes the physiological appearance and biological makeup of any animal it infects to make them stronger, more resilient, and aggressive. For humans, this means thicker and tougher skin, which takes on a green or yellow hue depending on the strain, increased muscle mass, denser bones, taller stature, and an asexual appearance, which puts together means your average super mutant stands around a foot or two taller and weighs roughly 600 pounds of pure muscle more than an average American, without any secondary sexual traits. And this sounds incredible at first, almost like it is the perfect super soldier serum, but there are some major side effects. First, they are sterile. Secondly, most super mutants, especially those exposed to radiation before infection, are, to put it bluntly, dumb. And thirdly, they are highly aggressive and prone to suffering from anxiety. We will skip the first for the moment to talk about the second and third traits, which mainly affect the second generation East Coast super mutants. Second generation dullness is from radiation damage to the DNA, causing the cells to be killed off when FEV tries to fix it, before the cells replaced with a new, blank copy. When this happens in the brain, it destroys the subject's memories and changes the mutant's personality, as those neural connections are torn away to never reform, even when the cells replaced with a near identical blank copy. As for the East Coast, we can assume these mutants are not that intelligent because the specific strain was designed to create loyal super soldiers who would not question and even think about their orders, but instead charge headfirst into battle without a second thought. This makes these mutants aggressive and bloodthirsty creatures who will often hunt humans for food, sport, or to create more super mutants because they believe they are the superior race. Often you can hear them talk about how weak and stupid humans are as they lumber around the wasteland with a hunchback and dull expression before proceeding to spike a mini nuke into the ground. The most impressive effect FEV has on a person, in my opinion, isn't the physical changes like massive muscular and bone growth, but is how super mutants are immune to any and all disease-causing microbes. This is a holdover from the original intentions of this virus, the Pan-Immunity Virome Project, which aimed to change human biology to stop the blue flu pandemic, which had been ravaging America since the 2050s. To explain how this works, I will use the common flu as an example. The way a flu virus attacks, and all other viruses for that matter, is by tricking a cell into allowing the viral strain to enter the membrane by using a protein that binds to cellular receptors. This protein is like a key, and the receptors is a lock. Enter the wrong key and nothing happens, but put the right key in and the virus is allowed to enter, hijack, and use the cell to produce millions of copies of itself to begin the process all over again. But what FEV does is completely change the cell, so that not only does the protein no longer work, but the cell design is completely different. So even if the flu were to sneak its way into the cell, the virus would not have any way to infect and replicate, thus preventing infection. This is like taking a simple safe that a thief knows the combination to and locking it inside a bank vault, which itself is inside a building protected by a cliche array of B spy movie contraptions for security like a laser grid, mines, and turrets. So Jamaica Plains, pretty much. However, that's not all, because FEV increases how quickly cells divide and shields the nucleus from radiation, making super mutants heal faster, stops the aging process, and protects their DNA from ionizing shortwave radiation, essentially making super mutants nearly perfect soldiers before the bombs and amazing survivors in a post-nuclear world. Known super mutant populations can be broken down into 5 different origins in 2 categories that were listed in order of appearance, those being the Unity, second generation, both of which spawned from Mariposa, Vault 82, the Institute, and Huntersville, with the first 2 located on the west coast and the last 3 on the east. Then there's the matter of categorization, that being intelligent and stupid. For the most part, intelligent super mutants are only from the Unity, possessing an intellect similar to the human form and were only made from non-irradiated humans captured from vaults by the Master, while the rest are classified as dumb, and that could be because the humans that were dipped had massive radiation exposure or because of the strain of FEV used. However, there is that occasional breakthrough case like Fox from Fallout 3 and Erickson from Far Harbor who have half a brain on their shoulders and can reason. Ghouls are created when select people with the right genes get exposed to high amounts of radiation, ghoulifying the person instead of giving them acute radiation sickness or liquefying their bodies. Instead, they change. Their skins darken into a red or brown as it dries out and cracks, their hair falls out, ears and noses get eaten away, and joints degrade. Also, their eyes darken to a near solid black, giving them a distinct, nightmarish appearance, but not necessarily all are terrible, because ghouls can be separated into two classes of civilized and feral, where the former act like humans and the latter are deranged. The civilized ghouls are almost indistinguishable from humans in how they act, doing everything they do from living in settlements to working jobs like everyone else, but with very gravelly voices. Hey, you. But feral ghouls are anything but human. Most aptly described as zombie-like post-humans whose higher cognitive functions have simply vanished to become the sickly-looking husk who attacks anything that is not a ghoul like them. Their bodies, much like their minds, are withered, becoming almost fragile-looking with a hunched, scrawny appearance with muscles so atrophied that you can see every rib clearly under their ragged clothes. But despite how malnourished they appear, feral ghouls are relentless when they attack and will literally rip you limb from limb if given the chance. Looking at both of these offshoots of humanity, we can get a pretty clear indication that neither is a viable species. Super mutants and ghouls alike are both sterile. They cannot do the dirty, bump uglies, make children to put it plainly. This is because FEV fixes both men and women to a near uniform appearance where all secondary sexual characteristics disappear, while ionizing radiation has outright destroyed ghoul reproductive organs. But that doesn't mean that there aren't new members being produced every now and then for both groups, because remember, super mutants are the product of FEV exposure and ghouls are just super irradiated humans who have the right genetics to not melt into a puddle of ghoul, which actually does apply to both creatures now that I think about it. But anyways, capital mutants have a nearly obsessive desire to capture wastelanders to dip into the green stuff, as they call FEV, turning them into super mutants too. This behavior is interesting because this is the defining motive within Fallout 3 and 76, to turn more humans into super mutants. But how they understand this process is unknown to us. It may be a societal adaptation where only groups that do create new mutants survive while the others die out, leaving only the first to terrorize the wastes. But that is mainly the stupid mutants. Intelligent ones who survived Unity will go on to either assimilate into the human population or create towns across the wastes, such as Jacob's Town, which was formed out of an old abandoned ski lodge high up in the Sierra Nevada mountains by Marcus for protection and to research the nightkin schizophrenia. With ghouls, it is different. Ferals do not actively try to turn wastelanders into more ghouls. No. Instead, they try to kill anything that isn't ghoulified like them with a reckless, mindless abandon. It's a primal instinct for them to gather in packs and meander around aimlessly as they wait for some helpless soul to stumble into their nest. Their withered minds know just two things: radiation is good and they kill. These packs often form around glowing ones, who act as mobile radiation emitters that release a constant stream of high energy particles from the massive amount of radioactive material stored within their body. The packs will often congregate around them to bask in the radioactive glow. So that is a quick look at the two most common abominations within Fallout. They are both wretched and amazing at the same time, capable of incredible feats of intelligence and strength, but also savage and murderous groups of post-humans who will both get dedicated videos that dive deep into their lore and roles within the wastes. Thanks for watching. I know it's been quite a while. Life has been very busy and school has been extremely hectic. However though, summer vacation just started, so I should be pumping out videos more often now. As a thank you, here's a perfectly preserved piece of pie that I got just fresh from the vending machine for you. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.